Recording in progress.
Good evening. It is now 6 p.m. on April 16th, 2024. I'd like to call this council meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you take the roll, please?
Branham,
Present.
Pugh, McBride, Livingston,
Present.
Teratio,
Present.
Weaver,
Here.
Barron,
Here.
Walker,
Here.
Mackey,
Here.
English,
Present.
Newton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is our invocation. Councilman Jason Branham, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'd like to invite Senior Pastor Don Brock from Gateway Baptist Church out in the Irma Ballantyne area to offer our invocation.
Thank you very much. Let us pray. Lord, may we never take for granted this wonderful community we get to live in. And through our voting booth, we have entrusted the welfare of this community to these men and women. And so I pray that you will watch over them, you'll protect them. And I want to pray a verse over them, because you tell us in James 1:5, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you, and he will not rebuke you for asking. So I pray an abundance of wisdom and discernment for them as they lead this community and watch over this community. And we thank you for the sincerity in which they take on this task. Thank you for loving us, and thank you for protecting us and watching over us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. And now, if you're able, would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you. I do want to take a moment just to acknowledge two of our council members are not present with us this evening, Vice Chair Pugh and Councilwoman Yvonne McBride. They did notify me ahead of time they would not be able to attend this meeting, but definitely up to date on matters. Also wanted to take a moment and recognize a few visitors that we have in the audience. I'd like to first recognize Councilwoman Bernice Scott. Thank you for being here. Also would like to recognize Superintendent from District 2, Dr. Kim Moore. And then I lost our former treasurer, Adams. Where is he at? There, hiding. I couldn't see you back there. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. All right. Next on our agenda is...
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am. You're recognized.
May I have a point of...
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment. If you see the shirt that I'm wearing, that it says Unlocking Barriers, I've worked with the Developmental Disabilities Council, and one of the things that we do is we work with those agencies and organizations that work with people with developmental disabilities. And today, we had our ADA Day. It's advocating for those with disabilities on the State House. And Able South Carolina, along with a plethora of supporters, came out to talk about the transportation, the needs of housing, the subminimum wage bill that was passed and will be effective in August, and changing the lives of those with disability. And this is necessary because the cost of those things, especially for persons with disability, are extremely high. Medication, assistive devices, wheelchairs that can cost it as much as $57,000. So the cost is really high. And the self-advocates stand strong, united together, and speak to legislators to try to change these laws. And just to share just a brief story, in 2001, when I started working on my master's degree, I was sitting around a table with social workers who were using the R word. And fast forward to 2013, a group of advocates stood up, told their legislators, I'm not retarded, I have a disability. And I was able, when I started working for South Carolina Developmental Disabilities Council, to sit on the committee that wrote that word out of the law. So they do make changes and they do advocate for themselves. And I just wanted to say, just to give them their shout out for all that they do, and thank you for your support. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilwoman English. Next on our agenda is item 4, ratification of resolution. A resolution recognizing the University of South Carolina's 2024 NCAA Women's Basketball National Championship. I'll entertain a motion on this.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh, Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you so much. I'll now read this resolution into the record. Recognizing the University of South Carolina 2024 NCAA Women's Basketball National Championship. The University of South Carolina women's basketball team has consistently upheld its status as one of the nation's premier programs within the Southeastern Conference. Renowned for its pursuit of excellence in both academics and athletics, and the Gamecock women's basketball team has epitomized the reputation through their collaborative spirit, effective leadership, and remarkable on-court achievements. Seizing the coveted #1 overall seed, the South Carolina Gamecocks clinched the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship for the third time in their illustrious history, securing a decisive 87-75 victory over the University of Iowa Hawkeyes on April 7, 2024, thereby etching their name in the records of Division I history as the 10th team to accomplish a flawless season, 38-0. Richland County acknowledges and commends the tireless efforts and unwavering commitment of the team under the guidance of their dynamic head coach, Don Staley, associate head coach, Lisa Boyer, and assistant coaches, Jolette Law, Winston Gandy, Mary Woolley, and Khadijah Sessions, as well as the outstanding contributions of players Tahina Powpow, Ashlyn Watkins, Tessa Johnson, Camila Cardozo, Malaysia Fawali, Adele Tack, Sanai Fagan, Chloe Kitts, Bree Hall, Raven Johnson, and Sakima Walker, whose collective dedication propelled them to an extraordinary season and an unblemished record of 38-0. The University of South Carolina women's basketball team and coach Don Staley have served as an inspiring beacon of resilience and determination, overcoming challenges with unwavering resolve and embodying the spirit of perseverance that defines true champions. Now therefore be it resolved that Richland County Council members Jason Branham, Derek Pugh, Yvonne McBride, Paul Livingston, Allison Teratio, Don Weaver, Gretchen Barron, Overture Walker, Jessica Mackey, Cheryl English, and Shaquise Newton proudly recognize the University of South Carolina women's basketball team and their esteemed coaches for their exceptional contributions to the realm of women's college basketball and extend sincere congratulations on their phenomenal championship season. Go Gamecocks. I do want to say that this past Sunday, we had our council participate, Richland County Council, and actually some of our senior staff participate in the parade right downtown here on Main Street. And, you know, for some of us who participated 2 years ago, the crowd, y'all, was so much bigger. And folks are so happy and proud of our South Carolina Gamecocks. And as a graduate, I am equally as proud. We all got to be there and celebrate with the team, the coaches, and we were able to present this to them at that time. But we wanted to make sure that this was officially included in our council minutes and on record. And we're so thankful that we have one of the coaches, Coach Gandy, here tonight. So if you would come forward. Coach Gandy's, y'all, is a new coach. I don't know if you paid attention. He's a new coach to our Gamecock family. And Coach Staley always speaks so highly of all that you've done the short time here and how you've made a huge impact on the women on the team. And so thank you for taking the time to come, especially as a new resident to Richland County. We appreciate you coming here tonight.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you all for being here today. Very grateful to be able to accept this on the behalf of the women's basketball team at South Carolina. Just want to say thank you to the county as a whole, to the staff, to the council here, for those of you that made it this past Sunday, and for those of you that maybe watched. It was one of those things where I think for those that have been there before, they all talked about how much bigger and how much more support it was this time around. So it did not go unnoticed, and so grateful.
So much. All right, we have two more proclamations we will read, and we'll have folks come forward, and then we'll take the pictures at the end. So next is a proclamation recognizing April 14th through 20th, 2004 as Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week. And I believe Ms. Newton, you recognize.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whereas the National Animal Care and Control Association designated the second full week of April as National Animal and Control Appreciation Week, and whereas various federal, state, and local government officials throughout the country take this time to recognize, thank, and commend all animal control officers and animal services staff for the dedicated service they provide to the citizens, public safety, and domestic animals and livestock across the nation. And whereas animal care officers and animal care staff dedicate their lives to the health and safety of at-risk and helpless animals, and whereas animal care officers answer calls for assistance, capture potentially dangerous animals, rescue animals in distress, investigate reports of animal cruelty and neglect, educate citizens about responsible pet care, and protect the public from zoonotic diseases such as rabies, and whereas animal care officers and staff continually reunite lost pets with their rightful owners, whereas Richland County recognizes and commends the work done by the Animal Services Division daily to the citizens of our community, and specifically recognizes the employees for their hard work. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed. Now, therefore, Richland County Council members Jason Branham, Derek Pugh, Allison Terracio, Don Weaver, Gretchen Barron, and Shaquise Newton hereby proclaim April 14th through 20th, 2024 as National Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week. And we encourage all citizens to join us in expressing their sincere appreciation for the service and dedication of our animal care employees. I'm sorry, what?
Did you have anyone here that would like to say a few words?
Yes, so we're going to do the pictures at the end.
Yes.
We have a number of county animal care staff here, but I'm not sure who wanted to speak. Did you, Director Haynes?
Sandra Haynes, Director of Animal Service. I would like to thank Council for the proclamation honoring our animal care officers. As you can see, we're small in number, but we do provide services to the citizens of Richland County 24 hours a day. So again, thank you. And I would like to say to our officers and staff, thank you for all you do today and every day.
Next is 5B, a proclamation recognizing Lower Richland High School Junior ROTC drill team on their 2024 state championship. Ms. Newton, you're recognized.
Thank you. Eye contact. Whereas the Lower Richland JROTC drill team embodies the qualities of dedication, discipline, and teamwork, and whereas the drill team has excelled in competition, taking the top prize in numerous contests across the state and region, including winning the state championship, as well as taking first place overall in the 4th Brigade Regional Armed Drill Competition. And whereas their efforts have qualified them for the National High School Drill Team Championship, whereas the drill team members Layla Hill, Jasmine Hartley, Kiana Hartley, Anthony Ortiz, Enrique Ortiz, Danilo Cabanayan, Adam Workman, Deshaun Scott, Amari Scott, Gabrielle Ramos, Trishelle Backus, Charvanya Stalker, Nevaeh Felder, Jaquan Burnett, Ramaya Bratton, Jayla Fleming, Candace Green, Marielle Gamboa, Kiana Riley, Taquasia Gregg, and Zahara Latif have displayed remarkable talent and commitment through their achievements. And whereas the junior ROTC drill team members have demonstrated commitment to academic and personal excellence while modeling successful teamwork. And whereas the coaching leadership of Sergeant First Class Tracy Vaux in his 14th year coaching the drill team has been pivotal in guiding students to reach their full potential, instilling in them the values of perseverance, teamwork, and dedication. And whereas the junior ROTC drill team and their coaches have demonstrated to their school and the community that success is their priority with the educational development of students through excellent teamwork, while exemplifying that a well-organized drill team program meets the students' needs for discipline, mental alertness, leadership skills, and physical growth. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Richland County Councilwomen Shakese Newton and Cheryl English proudly recognize and congratulate the Lower Richland High School Junior ROTC drill team and their coaches for their accomplishments and their exciting national championship qualification and their exceptional contributions to the world of high school drill team programs.
I'll be real brief. I definitely want to thank the board. It's an honor and privilege for being here tonight. These young adults work extremely hard. Not only did they win the state meet this year, they won it last year as well. They've won our league at the Midlands League Championship. They won the Richland District 1 competition. So this year has been really exciting. We didn't think we would want to do as well as we did at the Best of Bet, which is the Brigade Championship. We just really wanted to go there and place in an event. When they called us for the first place overall, just the look on their face gave me all the joy I could ever believe. So definitely like to thank them and thank the board.
And thank you, Madam Chair. Just a point of personal privilege. I had the honor this year of being the principal of the day at Lower Richland High School, and boy, did I walk back and forth across that campus. And one of the groups that was very kind in their welcome to me was this team, and I could see then you were preparing to compete. I don't know if you remember, you had a contest that Saturday. You were ready to go out and do your best, and so I really want to commend you. And also, I just have to acknowledge, in the spirit of Lower Richland, where it seems like you can't go too far without running into a relative. I found out tonight that one of the drill team members is the cousin to my second cousin who used to live next door to my grandma, which is just how the world works in Lower Richland. So we're all family. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Newton. All right. Well, we will meet over at the seal. So first up is the Women's Basketball National Championship. And then after that, we'll go with Animal Care and Lower Richland JROTC.
With animal control.
Yeah, because he's trying to walk. Yeah. You would have, you would have trusted it, you would have been like, oh, wait a second. We need to do this.
Thank you all. The next item on our agenda. Hit my little, okay. All right, we're gonna get back to the agenda now. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes from special called meeting April 9th of 2024.
Move to approve.
A motion for approval?
Second.
Second, any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is the adoption of the agenda. Administrator Brown, do you have any changes, additions, deletions?
No recommended changes.
Thank you. Motion?
Approve.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Pugh, Livingston, Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Next is item 8, report of the attorney for executive session items. Attorney Wright, you recognized.
Yes, Madam Chair. There are no items for executive session scheduled tonight.
Item 9 is citizens' input for items on the agenda not requiring a public hearing. And I've been told Mr. Livingston is going to assist me this evening in the absence of Vice Chair Pugh. Mr. Livingston, do we have anyone signed up to speak this evening for item 9A?
No one signed up to speak for item 9A, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Next is 10, citizens' input must pertain to Richland County matters not on the agenda. Items for which a public hearing is required or a public hearing has been scheduled cannot be addressed at this time. Councilman Livingston, anyone signed up to speak this evening?
One person signed up on that list, and that was Elaine.
We changed that. I'm going to speak on 15B. I didn't see it there because it wasn't written out very well, just going too fast.
Okay, ma'am, thank you, thank you. So we do not have anyone else signed up
No
to
one else
speak?
signed up to speak
Thank you,
today. I'm sorry.
thank you. So just so everyone's clear, item 10A is for must pertain to Richland County matters not on the agenda. Items for which a public hearing is required or a public hearing has been scheduled cannot be addressed at this time. So if an item on the agenda has a public hearing attached to it, then you will have to speak at the time of that public hearing. Okay? Next is item 11, report of the county administrator. Administrator Brown, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And if it please you and the council, we do have a special guest, Dr. Moore, who is here. She actually has a work session that's going on now, but she's here to present to us. I'm going to take that item a little bit out of order and ask Madam Chair if you'll recognize her to come down and provide the council with an introduction and presentation.
Thank you so much. Dr. Moore, please join us. Thank you for coming tonight. I will say, Administrator Brown, I'm not sure there's a presentation attached, but our screens are not working this evening, so we will not be able to see any, unless IT has resolved this at this point. Okay, so we do not have any access here, but we are happy to listen, and if the presentation can be provided to us after this, we greatly appreciate it. Some of us do, is what I'm told. Okay. You're recognized, Dr. Moore.
Good evening, council members. Can you hear me? No, press the light.
Yes, ma'am. You're ready.
I was about to use my command voice or my teacher voice, either one. But good evening, council members. Thank you so much for this opportunity to come and introduce myself to you. As you know, I am Dr. Kim Moore, the very proud superintendent of Richland 2 School District. And I'm just excited to be here tonight to just tell you a little bit about myself and to share with you my vision as we continue to move Richland 2 School District forward so that we are ensuring that our students are future ready because we are purpose driven. So as you will see on the first slide, just a little bit about me because I have a limited amount of time. As you can see, that young officer there over on the left-hand side, that is me when I was on active duty. I am a retired military officer. I retired as a lieutenant colonel from the Pentagon, which was my last duty assignment. My expertise is nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare, weapons of mass destruction. And so I was a part of the negotiating team to ban chemical weapons, the treaty that we have in place. I'm also a high school teacher. My degree is science, and my certification is chemistry. My degree is biology with a minor in chemistry, and I taught high school science when I retired from the military. But most importantly, I am the very proud grandmother of 7 grandchildren, and this weekend, I won't be there, but my husband will be at the gender review, and we'll find out the sex of our 8th grandchild. But the pictures there you see are my 2 youngest ones, Martina and RJ, and we'll have a new one joining us. Next slide, please. So that's just a little bit about who I am. But let me tell you about our wonderful school district. We have almost 29,000 students in our district. We are a minority majority district in that we have a larger majority of our African American students and our Hispanic students. Here's an interesting piece of data, though. We expect that within 2 years, our Hispanic population will be larger than our white student population. That tells you about the growth that's taking place within our district. And of course, along with that comes specific needs to meet the needs of our multilingual students. Next slide. Also, with those changing demographics have come a significant increase in our poverty rate. So 17,991 of our students, a staggering 62.4%, are living in poverty. So that's up by 8.6% over the last 5 years. Now, this is important because poverty has emerged as one of the leading indicators of academic achievement and the gap that we see in academic performance. That's why this is important. Please don't misunderstand that we don't believe that our students in poverty cannot perform and achieve at significantly high levels. They can, but they do require additional support to help them close that gap. And that's very important. Now, 71% of these students in poverty are our African American, 14.2 are our Hispanic students, and 7.2% are our white students. And this data is as of April 11, 2024, so it's very current. Next slide, please. Along with that increase in the demographics and shifts that were taking place, you also see that we have a very high mobility rate within our district, and that comes along with the poverty changes that we're seeing, that parents find themselves having to move more frequently, which means their children are moving more frequently. So 18.6% of our Richland 2 school district students had changed schools last year. In our elementary schools, the highest mobility rate reached 28.8%, and that was at Joseph Keels Elementary School. In our middle schools, the highest mobility rate was 24%, and that is at Dent Middle School along the Decker Boulevard. And then in high school, the highest school rate is at 26.7%, and that's at Westwood High School. And that mobility rate is very disruptive to a student's learning, but it's our responsibility as the educators to close that gap and reduce the impact that it has on students. Next slide, please. This is a topic that you've heard a lot of because you've been parents in our district. I'm not sure why there's no words there, but it's dealing with chronic absenteeism. 1 in 5 Richland 2 students miss more than 18 days of school in a year, which state law defines absentee rate. We don't. And it's defined as chronic absenteeism is when you have more than 10 days of absenteeism. But I'm very proud to say, due to our efforts this year, which I apologize because that got you some calls unnecessarily, our parents were very responsive to my call to action. Look at where we're at today. We've dropped from 21% to 12.3%. And that's been a concerted effort by our team to make that happen. So thank you for that. And then the next slide. Of course, we are currently in budget season, But I want to let you know that we will be coming to you as soon as we get some more numbers from the state to talk to you about our budget. But we have some great news to share with you. As I came on board, my priorities for our district and my vision for the district is to make sure, first and foremost, that we are fiscally accountable to the resources that we are blessed to receive. I believe, and I look at our budget as it's my personal budget. And I don't spend my personal budget frivolously, and I don't spend the taxpayers' dollars that way either. We are here to educate students, and everything that we do starts with students and ends with students. So my first priority has been throughout this year fiscal accountability, and you know we are now no longer on fiscal watch, another way to celebrate, because we are making sure we're using our resources effectively. The next area that I focused in on, back to that slide please, is human resources. Our resources, our HR resources are about 30 years old. That's how out of date our systems are. And we have to be in line with business practices, sound business practices. And so we are working toward that. We are also focused, obviously, on academics. And my personal area of focus is math. As a science person, math is very important. Our data shows that we have made significant progress in our English, our ELA areas, and are actively engaged in the science of reading and moving our students in that area. So literacy is the foundation of everything. However, if our students are going to compete in a global economy, and that's what our students have to do today to be successful, they have to be strong in math, because math is the universal language. That it's the foundation. And so math has been my focus. And then, of course, safety and security. Working conditions starts with safety and security. Our staff, our teachers, our students have to feel that when they come into our schools, they feel safe. And so we've done some things the board put in place. For high schools, we have our safety screening protocols in place. So if you go to a high school, you will go through a metal detector similar to what I went through coming into this building. And that is a part of that process. We do pop-ups at our middle schools. So it is a focus across the district. So with that, I'll just share a few other things that we're doing in that area. I started a podcast when I came on board, and if you want to listen to it, it's excellent. I highly encourage that. But you will have heard the podcast that we did right before spring break with Be Smart. Why did I do that podcast? It was very intentional, very strategic, because we know that during spring break, students may be home unsupervised or out and about finding weapons. We don't want it in their hands. We wanted them to make good choices. We wanted to remind parents of that. So the podcast is titled The More You Know. Play on words, but it's really about educating our parents and equipping them with information. We also, I meet with the sheriff and his entire team. We meet with them quarterly, and we sit down and talk about what's going on, not just at our schools, but within our community. We're actually also a member of the Decker Collective, which is really all about helping that part of our community raise up the standards in the community, which directly impacts our schools. One of the things I just shared with our religious advisory group, my NERMA, they're called NERMA, they're the superintendent's faith-based organization, and they advised me, is that our school district is a member of the community. We are a part of the community. So we have to partner with the community to do the work. We're not here just to put our hand out and say, give us, and thank you. We want to come alongside of you and work with you. I have the very privilege as I close up to be a member of Leadership Columbia this year. So I saw our director of the ballet here because that was one of our activities. The reason that I joined Leadership Columbia is because I am new to South Carolina. I came from Florida, and I wanted to make sure that I integrated myself into this community. And the best way I saw to do that was through Leadership Columbia as I learned about Richland too, and this great county that we live in. I found it to be warm and welcoming, so I just want to say thank you for this opportunity tonight. And I do have a small token to present to you because I want you to always remember Richland 2 School District and the great support and partnership that we have with the County Council. Thank you. And of course, I'll answer any questions that you have.
Dr. Moore, we appreciate you taking time out to come this evening. We know Tuesday nights are busy for many
We
of
do have
our...
a board workshop going on,
Yes.
talking about budget.
Yes, many of our bodies meet on Tuesday nights, so we appreciate you taking the time out to come and be here to share this with us. That helps, and that shows your continued partnership with the community.
Well, thank you. In the military, we have a tradition of giving challenge coins. I won't explain all of it, but if you talk to me privately, I'll tell you what you do with your challenge coin. It requires adult activities. But if you're caught without your challenge coin, it's a problem. So I have a challenge coin for each of you to say thank you for this opportunity.
Madam Chair, while we're in this transition, may I be recognized?
You're recognized.
So I just wanted to just briefly state how excited I am to have Dr. Moore as our superintendent of Richland 2. I still have one son at Richland 2, in Richland 2, and I did have the opportunity to meet her first as a parent and then as a council person, and I will say that it is refreshing to have someone excited about emerging themselves into our community, into our world that we experience every day. And so, Dr. Moore, officially, I just want to continue to welcome you to Richland County, and we're just excited about the things that you're laying down and putting in place in Richland 2.
Thank you. We are your workforce developers, so we need to have a strong working relationship. So thank you for that.
Just wanted everyone to know that I have mine already.
Well, you get a special one.
Okay.
Because you're the chairperson.
Thank you.
But you already have your other one.
Yes.
And so
early in
you
the
would be
year.
good if
Yes,
we were
I
in
would
a
be good
place.
if I got challenged, because when you first gave it to me, I remembered. I said,
Yes.
I won't get caught slipping. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda, I'm sorry, Administrator Brown, you still had a few more items, didn't you?
Very briefly.
Okay, go
I
right
know y'all
ahead,
are so
sir.
excited.
I was like,
and
yep,
I
going
got
to
some
the
more
next one.
exciting
Go ahead.
updates.
Yes.
And I'm not going to steal all the thunder, but one of the things that you see on the agenda is our strategic planning dashboard. And that's something that's come to fruition. It's been something that we talked about in an effort for the county to communicate to the citizens about how we operate, to have an open dialogue that they can take a look at that demonstrates both visual metrics and an opportunity for citizens to understand some of the focuses and initiatives that are in place. So with that being said, I'm going to ask our budget director to come forward. I was going to do a presentation related to the dashboard, and after that's concluded, Madam Chair, we'll take any questions, but that will complete my report.
Thank you, Administrator Brown. And just to kind of make sure we're refreshing folks that maybe aren't aware of where we are in this process, this dashboard is really a long time work in progress of the Strategic Planning Ad Hoc Committee as well as this council to really show transparency, which is one of the things that we focused on in the strategic plan that we agreed upon 3 years ago. And this dashboard has really brought all that together so that the community can see that we are being accountable and really setting targeted goals to achieve all of the initiatives that we set forth. And so this dashboard is really the council's commitment in a visual form to the public. We say that we are committed to these goals and initiatives, and we want to visually show that to the public so at any time you can go online and see where we are, what we are working towards completing, how far away we are from achieving that goal. And so I am just as extremely excited that we are at the point to where we can show this. So thank you, Mr. Brown, for including this in the agenda tonight.
Good evening, Madam Chair. May I be recognized?
Barr, I want to make sure, can you make sure your mic's on? I feel like you're low.
Yes, can y'all hear me now?
Everybody good?
Is that better? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of County Council and the administration. Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight to give you some really exciting news. So as the Director of Budget and Strategic Management, it's my privilege to present to you the latest updates on the county's progress through our public dashboard. This public dashboard serves as a comprehensive tool for tracking key performance indicators and metrics that are vital to the success and well-being of our community. As you all know, the vision for the county dashboard has been about 1.5 years in the making. In August of 2022, the county engaged with Invisio to bring the strategic planning vision to life and promote transparency to all stakeholders. Over the next year, the County Council and Administration worked to develop measurable and concise goals, objectives, and initiatives. The County Council ultimately approved 6 overarching goals, broken down further into objectives and initiatives or action items. The public dashboard highlights each area of the plan and provides visuals, narrative updates, and progress reports. Today, I'll walk you through some of the highlights and key insights that this dashboard provides. So you do have on the screen our actual public dashboard. So this is really the home page here, of course, with some visuals. You will, as I scroll down, there's a little bit of a narrative about kind of the progress from 2021 to date. And it also has some status updates and then our overall progress to this point. So the legend here is that the green status means that the initiative is on track. Yellow means that there's some disruption. Blue, or purple is upcoming, and blue is completed. So again, as I mentioned before, there are 6 overarching goals, and we can click into each one to get a little bit of a deeper dive. For today's demonstration, I'll click into Commit to Fiscal Responsibility. So here you'll see some of the data visuals that Ms. Mackey, of course, mentioned. So, as someone working in finance, this is the page that I like. I like to see, information about general fund balance, general fund revenue. Of course, we have comparison to budget, to amended budget, and then actual reports. If you look at the current year, we are not fully through the fiscal year, so you won't see data for the current year other than budget. You'll also see some information about accommodations tax, the original appropriation, the actual collections. And again, as you see, as I hover over each of these, it kind of gives you a little bit more of a snapshot and more information on each item. We also have some information about federal grants and state grants. Of course, during the years shown here, for federal grants, there was a lot of money coming in from COVID or ARPA funding. And then if you see on the state grant side, over the last 2 years, there's been significant money coming in from state economic development grants. And I will drill down into some of the objectives and initiatives. So again, under the commitment to fiscal responsibility, one of our objectives is to establish process to prioritize initiatives to align with available resources. And one of those initiatives is to establish and implement a formal vetting process for short-term and long-term capital projects. So drilling into that further, there's actually a staff update. So we have structured this, each of our initiatives to show a highlight if there are any roadblocks, and then also what the next steps are. So I'm not going to read through all of that, but you certainly can kind of see how it rolls out into each different initiative. I also do want to take some time to talk about just navigation. If you click here, you can go back to that home page and always, again, click into each of the different goals, or you can look at this header up here and click further. So looking at establishing operational excellence, there's significant visuals and graphs about workforce diversity as far as age, gender, race, also some information about training and courses attended and our employee turnover rate. So if I scroll to the bottom, there are certainly some metrics, some objectives about employee compensation, investing in employees, investing in technology. And then I'll click on, so as you can see here, we have an initiative to implement a county council approved step-based compensation plan. And since it's indicated in blue, that means that has been completed. So again, we have the highlight here. As y'all recall, the Evergreen Solutions recommended a step plan for compensation. This was fully implemented in December of 2023. Of course, contingent each year on available funding to move to the next step. So at this time, we are observing market trends and to allocate necessary funds for fiscal year 2025. Just a few more other highlights. This will certainly be updated. There are several different metrics. Some are on a monthly basis, some are on a quarterly basis, and we also have some annual information as well that you can tell from the visuals. So, of course, feel free to kind of plug around as you do have access to this. Excuse me. But in conclusion, the public dashboard does provide a transparent and accessible way for all stakeholders to track our county's progress and promote accountability. Thank you to the County Council for your leadership and guidance during this process. The rollout of this dashboard involved many levels of county government, and I truly appreciate the collaboration from so many different departments. The dashboard is a dynamic tool that we will continue to update and improve, and I'm very excited to be able to share this tool with the citizens of Richland County. The tool will be live on the county's website in the very near future, but of course, prior to going live, County Council will receive a link to review, and I encourage you to explore it further and welcome any feedback or questions that you may have. Thank you again for this opportunity to speak to you tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Administrator Brown?
I will not take away from any of that excitement. And Madam Chair, we will conclude that report with excitement.
Thank you so much, Administrator Brown. Next is item 12, report of the Clerk of Council.
Thank you, Chair Mackey. There are no reports at this time.
Thank you. Next is item 13, report of the Chair, the Transportation Penny Advisory Committee appointment. I would like to remind colleagues, I believe it was maybe about a month ago, we passed a resolution talking about the Transportation Advisory Committee and their functions moving forward. And we also noted at that time that there were several vacancies on the Transportation Ad Hoc Committee by our municipalities that had seats. And so they were notified to fill those vacant seats by April 5th. All municipalities were able to meet that deadline except for one. And after talking with them, they have decided not to appoint. And at this point, per our resolution, myself, the Councilwoman Barron, Chair of Rules and Appointment, and Mr. John Black, who is the Chair of the Transportation Ad Hoc Committee, have discussed and are bringing forward an appointment recommendation for the current seat that is open on TPAC. You will see seated in front of you at your desk, there's an application on file. And I apologize, I'm probably gonna mess this man's last name up. Donald Van Rankin. Donald Van Rankin's application is one that we had on file. So in considering how to fill this vacancy, we did look at the current applications that we had on file, meaning that they'd already submitted something folks were interested in serving on TPAC, and their applications were still current with rules and appointments. And Donald Van Rankin actually resides in the Arcadia Lakes area, which is the municipality that did not appoint. And so we are bringing forth this applicant as our recommendation to fill the site, and we would need to take a vote of the body to do so. Recognize Councilwoman Barron.
Yes, so does this need a motion or?
It does need a motion, a second, and a vote, and happy to
So moved.
discuss. The motion?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Livingston. Teratio. Weaver.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Walker. Mackey.
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Attorney Wright, anything else we need to do at this time?
That's it. He just needs to be notified of the appointment.
Thank you. So that fills all of our seats on TPAC. So we are happy. Chair John Black is at work, and he's now happy to have a full advisory committee working with him. Next is item 14, approval of consent items. An ordinance authorizing the easements to Dominion Energy South Carolina, Inc. to construct, extend, replace, relocate, perpetually maintain, and operate an overhead or underground electric line or lines located on property owned by Richland County at 1364 North Point Boulevard, and as is more fully described herein. This is a second reading of this item. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
A motion, a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham.
Yes.
Pugh. Livingston.
Yes.
Teratio.
Yes.
Weaver.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next is our second reading items 15A, an ordinance amending the Richland County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 18, offenses by adding Section 18-10 so as to prohibit the desecration of a grave site, cemetery, or burial ground and to provide penalties. This is the second reading. Motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Next is item 15B, an ordinance amending the Richland County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 5, Animals and Fowl. And I want to have a little discussion, I guess, before this. All of us have received several emails concerning this this item on the agenda. We do know that this ordinance does require 3 readings and a public hearing. That public hearing is coming up, which many folks will have the opportunity to speak at then. But do want to acknowledge that we have received the emails and the concerns, and I would like a member of staff to be able to come and address some of those concerns at this time as it relates to the changes in this ordinance. Director Haynes, you are recognized.
Thank you. Okay, county staff met with interested animal care community stakeholders at a quarterly collaboration meeting February 12th. During this meeting, stakeholder groups expressed their concerns about the removal of the community cat program. Just to give you a little background, the community cat program was established pursuant to the 2017 Animal Care Ordinance Amendment. This program allowed community cats to be trapped by animal care officers and picked up by citizens and taken to the city shelter to be spayed, neutered, vaccinated, and ear-tipped. Shortly after the ordinance was enacted, the shelter lost its veterinarian. The community cat language no longer, provides us the ability for our officers to take the cats to the shelter to have them ear-tipped and vaccinated. Currently, citizens have the ability to obtain vouchers from the Animal Care Division. These spay-neuter vouchers are supplied by the Animal Mission. Citizens can take the community cats to facilities accepting the vouchers, and at the moment, those facilities are Palmetto Lifeline and the Humane Society. Again, citizens can still pick up and have community cats altered, and the current ordinance draft acknowledges this as reflected in the TNR language, which is trap, neuter, release, or return. Regarding community cat protection, the draft ordinance protects community cats by making it illegal to poison cats. This protection is now added. Also, state law prevent community cats from being cruelly treated or killed by making such actions a misdemeanor or a felony. Again, the removal of the community cat program language means the county no longer trap these cats and take them to the facility. Now, if the community cat program is removed, citizens are still allowed to have their community cats altered at non-Richland County facility that performs these services. If the community cat program language is removed, it is still a violation of the law to cruelly treat or kill community cats. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Haynes. I see Councilwoman Teratio, you recognize.
Thank you. I've had a lot of phone calls, well, not so much phone calls, but lots of emails about this and some phone calls. And I want to also state that my cat is a TNR cat. So a community partner,
caught the mom. She was pregnant, gave birth. And when those cats were weaned, the mama cat was taken to be spayed. And then when I brought my cat home, she was also taken. And we availed ourselves of such a voucher. So one of my questions for you is, you did mention a community partner that provides the vouchers. One of the things that has come up for me in discussions recently around the availability of these programs is that the vouchers are not as we either don't have as many vouchers, or there's not as many vouchers available, or those vouchers are not covering the full cost. Are you able to speak to? I don't want to put you on the spot, and you're speaking for another, but are you made aware of any of that?
Yes, I have been made aware of that.
Okay.
In the past, the vouchers did cover the entire cost of the spay and neuter. No cost was passed on to the citizens, because actually we were doing basically some of the work. But now citizens, they have to pay for a trap. They definitely have to pay for gas to take it to these facilities. And to my understanding, they may not be enough available appointments, and they can't take as many cats, as they can at one time.
So would you say that's, so you mentioned a couple of partners that are performing these services. I don't want to put you on the spot too much, but it is my understanding that that one of the things that could help would be if there were more appointments available for some of our animals to get altered. Okay. Thank you so much for that, and thank you all for the work that you're doing on this ordinance, and for the clarification that you've given the public, because I know there's been a lot of alarm about that. And then the other thing that I just want to be super duper clear about is that no part of our ordinance prevents community partners from performing TNR programs, right? So just because the county does not have our own, there's no prevention that someone else, that other entities could perform that service for the public.
That's correct.
Right. So it's not illegal. We're not shutting it down. We're not stopping it. All right. Great. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Newton? Oh, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Weaver, and then Councilwoman Newton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I'd just like to say, echo my colleague's comments, Mr. Horatio, that we've received a lot of emails in this regard. And I just want to make sure that we're clear that the county is in support of the CAT Community Diversion Program, if I'm saying that correctly, and that when staff comes back with the final language, that is in there to make sure that we support that, that we're not removing it or we're not discouraging it in any way, shape, or fashion by the omission of language in that. I just want to make sure that's clear.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
You're recognized, Attorney Wright.
No, I just want to say that the diversion program doesn't exist. It hasn't existed since 2017. So individual entities are allowed to, avail themselves of the voucher program that does exist, but the Community Cat Diversion Program does not currently exist, has not existed since 2017. So it doesn't exist. So that's the things, like with the language the way it is now, the program is not in existence as far as what was imagined in 2017. It's allowed to take place as far as individuals can pick up the animals and take them to the entities that provide the services, and that's not going to change either way. If the language is there or it's not there, it's not going to change. This doesn't affect it.
Can I answer that? Thank you, Madam Chair. The only thing I'm asking is when staff comes back that they make sure they've reached out to as many stakeholders as possible to allay their concerns and fears about this program going away, because maybe there's just a perception that the language should be in there. But we've had a lot of people reach out to us with concern about that. So when staff comes back, I'd just like to make sure that language is sufficient for the stakeholders that are involved to hear. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Ms. Newton, you recognize.
Yes, a very quick question, because I know there's a desire to have a motion on this item, but Attorney Wright, it's related to what you said. So I've heard you clearly, and I've heard staff clearly, that this program has not existed since 2017. My understanding is that what is written here in the motion is an attempt to make the ordinance match reality. My question is, when you look at how community groups are currently capturing, having animals spayed, neutered, and released into the wild versus what this ordinance says, what is the difference in reality on the ground? Does the passage of this ordinance change anything in terms of how they are operating or how animal cruelty is prosecuted, may not be the right word, but prosecuted in the county?
No.
So it changes nothing in terms of what we allow, encourage, or discourage?
Correct.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Barron, then Councilman Brannon.
So I think we're all in sync because we've heard the same thing about the diversion program. That's what it's called? And so with that, my challenge is often not necessarily about this particular item, but my challenge is, how is it that we no longer have a program and have not had it since 2017, but it's a lot of people that think we do. And so somewhere along the line, when we stopped doing it, maybe we didn't tell people we weren't doing it. I don't know, but it just kind of, and this is not a question, it's a statement. It does bother me that people are upset about something that we've not done in a very long time. And, we didn't tell them that we weren't doing it. I like scenarios, so I'll give you one tonight to make you giggle, because this is kind of heavy for me. And that's like if I stop cooking in my house and I don't tell my children, they're going to wonder where the food's coming from, right? You just can't and I know we don't have to announce things, but just being good neighbors, being good stewards, it just kind of bothers me that we haven't done something, but people think that we are, and now that we are trying to do right by animals, it's like, it's a double-edged sword, because people were thinking one thing about us, and so I know I'm rambling, but I don't know how we fix that, because, and I don't know if it's something through communications that because I love y'all, but something through communication in our messaging that says, hey, this is what the ordinance is. I know y'all think that we were doing this, but this is not what we were doing. This is what we are doing. Just how you explained it tonight, that was beautiful. It makes sense. It makes sense to me, but what doesn't make sense is that it's a large group of people that think that we're doing one thing that we're not. So I have no solution at this point besides to tell the people. But I want to get it, just wanted to get that off my chest.
Thank you, Ms. Barron. And, I will say, I think that we all received and heard the emails, and what is happening right now by staff addressing it is the quickest form of communication I think that staff could provide at the time, knowing, like I said, that folks could not speak upon it. And so this is the body addressing that in a way, as we have the conversation that we maybe typically would not do in such depth at this time. Councilman Brannon, followed by Councilman Livingston.
Thank you, Director Haynes. And certainly, at least I personally, I don't feel like there's any, bad intent from the staff at all with any of the proposed modifications of the ordinances. The Community Cat Diversion Program section, part of 5-4, it's less than a page long, so it's not that long. And please help me understand if there's more in other parts of the of the ordinances that are the community cat diversion program, but I mean, what I'm reading, it just, you know, it's, if the cat is a community cat and somebody, anybody, citizen or an officer, brings it to a facility, it gets assessed, spayed or neutered, vaccinated, and ear tipped, and then taken back to the area where it was collected. Is that kind of the long and short of it?
Yes.
Is that the program, or is there more that's not here that is the program?
That's the program.
Okay. I'm having a hard time understanding why it needs to be removed from why the ordinance needs to be removed. I don't think the fact that animal control officers are not out there actively seeking the community cats and taking them to the facility would mean that the section needs to be removed. It still very clearly articulates what should happen to a community cat, if anybody, and maybe in a circumstance, an animal control officer would get called to a location to pick up a cat, and it would qualify as a community cat. This would just lay out very clearly the steps that were needed to help continue to control the cat population. So I appreciate you just answering the question as far as the clarification goes, that everything that we see right here in section 5-4, this is the program. I guess the other thing that I'm not real clear on is the fact that if this program was enacted in 2017, but we're also hearing that the program hasn't been actively carried out by animal control at the county since 2017, was it actually ever actively implemented?
Yes, it was.
Was it just sometime during the year 2017?
It was it was July of 27 when it was, and that's when the animal care officers picked up the cats, took them to the city shelter to get all the services, and then returned them to the community.
So it was basically 1 month where there was an emphasis on the
It was
program?
about 2 years. They didn't lose their veterinarian until around 2019.
Okay, Okay, that's also helpful. I appreciate that. And then I guess if it's okay, I just wanted to check with the county attorney to see if we asked him to reconsider omitting this part of the ordinance, would there be any legal concern there?
Well, this isn't a county attorney ordinance. This is an ordinance that was recommended by administration. So legally, we have no concerns about it. So it's not a legal issue. This is a policy issue. It's not a legal issue.
Okay, thanks. Madam Chair, I'll have a motion when the time is right.
Mr. Livingston, you are now recognized.
I'll be very brief. The removal of the community cat diversion language doesn't change anything about the way we do business?
No.
Then why remove it?
Please refrain.
Like I said, this is not a legal matter, so yeah, you need to talk to administration.
I think what you're asking is, operationally, what the change would be. And my understanding operationally is that the change would be you would have the community who wanted to participate in the program still able to, but you would not have be charging animal care officers to specifically do that, which would then require a resource that we're not currently resourced to do. So is it certainly a decision that could be made? Absolutely, but then you would be looking at what additional resources would be required for county staff to do this. And so Mr. Wright mentioned it is a policy decision that has an operational impact. So while it may not be a legal concern, as the policymakers, while the community could still do it, if you charge the staff with doing it, then it will be a policy decision that has operational implications, which means that you would be looking at what does it take to run this program, and what that means that there will be resources. That would include personnel with equipment, so that they could then run this program, and that potentially what level that is could certainly be decided by the policymakers as to how much resources you want to put forward to that. So to answer your question, Councilmember Livingston, that would be the specific difference if you were referring to staff. If you're referring to just anyone wanting to do it in the community, then it goes back to the voucher program exists, and anyone who had that level of participation could certainly do that.
Madam Chair. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, with that said, and not understanding what those resources we required to run the program, do what we need to do with it, I'd like to move forward with a motion to the first, second reading and get some clarification on terms of what happens in terms of the county need for resources and so forth before we take the language, before we move. Our motion is.
Second.
Can you repeat? All I heard was my motion is for deferral till when? Deferral of second.
I didn't say when, but the next meeting is fine with me, but I didn't say when.
And then your motion to include?
Second, yeah.
We have a motion and a second to defer second reading until our next council meeting.
Brenham,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker, Mackey, English, Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Next item on agenda is 16, Report of Economic Development Committee. Mr. Livingston, you recognize.
Thank you very much. Okay, item 16A, authorize the expansion of the boundaries of the I-77 Corridor Regional Industrial Park jointly developed with Fairfield County to include certain property located in Richland County, the execution and delivery of a public infrastructure credit agreement to provide for public infrastructure credits to Silver Hills Hugo LLC and other related matters. The committee's recommendation was for approval.
You've heard the committee's recommendation for approval. Because it comes out of the committee, it doesn't need a second.
Madam Chair.
You recognize, Mr. Ratio.
So for this one, I can see a description of the project. I guess I have a question about it. I'm trying to formulate this question in a way that I can ask it. Is this given a location, thereabouts, a location, and a basic description, I have some concerns about this item in terms of what the community might be looking for or not looking for. I'm probably going to vote no on this one, and because I have some concerns about what it is. Making a statement.
Thank you. All right. Here, no further discussion. Mr. Weaver?
Did we second Mr. Livingston's
It
motion?
need a second because it came out of committee.
Okay.
So I was just having discussion right now for our.
I was just going to grease the wheels and second it,
I
Madam
appreciate
Chair.
it. Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker, Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
That brings us to item 16B, committing to negotiate a fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes agreement between Richland County and Project Charge, identifying the project and other matters related thereof. This is, again, introducing resolution saying, giving us authority to just move forward. Committee's recommendations for approval.
For the committee's recommendation. You have any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Brenham,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker, Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Livingston.
Item 16C, authorize execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of taxes and incentive agreement by and between Richland County, South Carolina, and Project Charge to provide for payment of fee in lieu of taxes, authorizing certain infrastructure credits and other matters related thereof. The committee's recommendation for approval. That information on page 107 through 140.
Thank you. Per the committee's recommendation, note this is first reading. Discussion? Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes. Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker, Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Madam Chair, that completes the report of the Economic Development Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Next item is 17, report of the Community Impact Grants Committee, given by myself. Fiscal year 25 grant application request. If you look on pages 141 through 143 of your packet, you will see in there organizations or applications that applied for this year's fiscal year 2025 Community Impact Grants funds. And then on your very last column of that table, you'll see the committee recommendation for award amount. All right, hearing no discussion, you've heard the committee's recommendation. Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes?
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Do want to say again that this is our second year going through the Community Impact Grant process. Thankful to my committee and for their work as well as staff. Each year it continues to grow, and pleased to see this year the diversity that we have in areas of impact as well as geographic region across our county. So thank you again for your participation, and we'll continue to work to improve this process as we go. That concludes the report of the Community Impact Grants Committee. Next is item 18, other items. 18A, award of construction, Atlas Road widening.
Madam Chair,
You recognize Ms. Newton.
I'd like to, I would like to make a motion that we not accept the bid, and if the motion is seconded, I'll give more information in discussion.
Second.
A motion and a second. We're in discussion. You recognize Ms. Newton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It was very exciting at our last council meeting that we approved a rescope of Atlas Road, restoring it to what was originally in the 2012 referendum, which is a larger project than what is accounted for here in this bid. Based on what we approved at our meeting last week, once again, the scope of that project now extends from Garner's Ferry Road to Bluff Road. And because we have expanded the scope of that project, I would like to allow staff the opportunity to review the bid that they put out there, just to make sure that what we're doing makes sense, that the scope has changed. Like Ms. Barron, I love an analogy. It's as if I was originally going to remodel my bathroom, and then I said, oh no, now I'm going to remodel the whole first floor. It just makes sense before I move forward with one room that I want to evaluate the whole situation and see what makes sense. So with that in mind, my motion is that we not accept this bid, so that we allow staff to do a comprehensive review and then make the proposal for moving forward that makes the most sense for the entire success of the project of Atlas Road.
We're in discussion. Any further discussion? Is that you? Oh, yeah. Councilwoman Barron, you recognize.
Thank you. So just to be clear, with this motion does not eliminate the existing vendor from being a part of whatever the staff is doing. I just want to be clear, what this motion does is allow the staff to say, hey, this is what we have. Is this gonna work for what we is this gonna work for what council just voted on? And because what I don't want us to do is give the appearance of that we are, we're refusing business from, with local vendors. I don't want that to be the case, or that to even be misconstrued as such. So just help me further understand, if I could direct that question to the county attorney.
Recognize Attorney.
Yes, what the motion that I understand is to not award the contract. So what that does is mean that there will be no contract awarded, and staff will go back and redetermine what's necessary for the new scope of the project, since it's a different scope than what was originally was thought to be when the bid was made. So this no contract will be awarded, and if staff determines that it needs to do a different bid in the future based on the new scope, then that will happen. But this is basically a rejection of any award of the contract at this point.
If I may.
You recognize, Ms. Mayor.
So it's rejecting what was brought to us.
Correct.
But is it eliminating what was already done through the procurement process? So for instance, if the staff comes back to us and say, this is what we need, and then they look at what we've already awarded, does the vendor that was brought to council, do they have another chance, or would they be the number one person, or would we start all over from scratch?
We start all over because it's a completely different project. Basically, it's a different scope because it's a different. It's a different thing that's being done. As her example, you're not doing the bathroom, you're doing the whole first floor. That's a completely different project. So the vendor would not be eliminated from bidding again for the new project, but this project would not go forward as is because it's a different scope of the project. So they would be allowed to bid on a new project or new scope just like anybody else would.
Okay, I'll leave it there.
Any further discussion?
Madam Chair.
Yes, you recognize.
Mr.
Councilman
Wright,
Walker.
I don't know if this would require executive session, but are there any legal ramifications to this motion if the motion were to pass, if we council voted in the affirmative?
It would require executive session if you're asking for legal ramifications.
You have your hand. I'm sorry, Mr. Walker. Did you have additional comments? Ms. English, did you have your hand up? Okay. Any further discussion? All right, we had a motion to repeat your motion, please.
The motion was to not award the bid or award the contract.
We have a motion to not award. There's a second. Madam Clerk.
Brenham,
Yes.
Livingston,
No.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
No.
Walker,
It's
Correct.
motion, yes.
Yes.
Mackey.
No.
English. Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
You recognize, Ms. Newton.
I move to approve items 18B through D.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Brenham,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker, Mackey,
Yes.
English, Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Colleagues, I need to make a motion for reconsideration of item 17A.
Move to
Second.
reconsider.
Second.
I made the motion, yes, and Ms. Newton seconded.
sorry.
You fine.
Just want to help you.
I appreciate your help. Madam Clerk?
Branham.
No.
Livingston.
No.
Teratio.
No.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No.
Walker,
No.
Mackey,
No.
English,
No.
Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Thank you. You're recognized, Ms. English.
Consideration for items 18.
I believe it's 18B, C, and D.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. The motion is second for reconsideration. Madam Clerk?
Branham,
No.
Livingston. No. Teratio,
No.
Weaver,
No.
Barron,
No.
Walker, Mackey,
No?
English,
No.
Newton.
No.
Motion fails.
Thank you. Item 19 is executive session. We do not have any items from above. Item 20 is motion period. I have not received any motions. Okay. Item 21,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
motion is second to adjourn. Madam Clerk?
Branham,
Yes.
Livingston. Teratio,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
English,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Meeting adjourned. Thank